Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to 7th Street. God, I gotta get used to this whole going live thing. Kind of like doing theater. I get nervous every time I do it. I've been going a little bit nuts lately with the Blu-rays. I kind of took a little bit of time off from collecting for a little while, just for a few months while I was shooting a movie. And now that I have some disposable income again, I've started buying up Blu-rays again. So yeah, I've just got a couple here that I wanted to real quick just sort of get into. I noticed that everybody does this, and I hadn't really started doing it until recently, talking about like updates and my collection and everything. The first one is from Arrow Video. I know I'm a little bit late to this party. I actually just met the producer a couple of years ago when I was up at a film festival in Seattle, and that is Microwave Massacre, put out by Arrow Video. Gosh, and all it comes out as backwards in this. I hope it doesn't look that way during a live stream. Maybe it does. Anyhow, this is put out by Arrow Video, the always great Arrow Video. I had never really been a big fan of Microwave Massacre. I was obviously aware of it just because I collect VHS tapes, and the VHS at one point or another was pretty sought after for a little while. But I was never really a big fan. Even when I went to the festival in Seattle, there was an after party, and Craig Muckler was there. I hope I'm saying his last name right. He was there promoting Microwave Massacre 2 and also promoting this release. So I know that this is at least a couple years old. I didn't pick up a copy. I ran into him later at a party and yucked it up with him for a little bit. He likes to party. He was a fun guy to drink with, let me tell you that. But I didn't really jump on the Microwave Massacre train when I saw that it was coming out on Arrow. I kind of thought, what's the big deal? So finally I got around to getting it. As you can tell, I almost always use the reversible sleeve in this. The original artwork for some of these are really cool. I tend to like the original poster art a little bit better. But anyhow, this is a 2K scan. Looks really great. Arrow always rolls out the red carpet for all the films that they do, especially the ones that have a pretty big cult following. And this one looks great. Like it could pass for being shot like a couple of years ago. It looks fantastic. If you haven't seen this movie, it's not for everybody. It's a comedy. It's a horror comedy. And I guess just from listening to the commentary and everything, they originally wanted Rodney Dangerfield to star in this film, but he wanted a little bit too much money. And knowing that made me appreciate the movie a little bit better. When you watch it, you go, oh, I see. I get it. Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield, I think, would have probably put this movie over the top. It probably would have been more popular, and people would have forgiven its really kind of cheap nature. But the actor in it, God, I forget his name, but he's the voice of Frosty the Snowman from that Christmas special, and you can totally tell. He just used like his normal voice for Frosty. Yeah, I definitely appreciate this movie, I guess, a little bit more than I used to now seeing it on this Blu-ray. I've watched it twice now, once with the commentary and just once by itself. And it looked great. It sounded great. It's always a hoot. It belongs in kind of the same like Troll 2 category, sort of. This one was a little bit more tongue-in-cheek, whereas like Troll 2 or Samurai Cop or The Room is honestly trying to be a good movie. This one, not so much. I would recommend buying it. I'm not sad that I bought it. I think the poster art is cool. The movie is all right. It's definitely one you can like watch with a couple friends and sometimes I buy Blu-rays of films that I'm not necessarily was never like in love with or never really saw to, see if there's anything new that kind of inspires me to do another references film episode. And I kind of thought that maybe that would happen with this, like maybe seeing it on Blu-ray would make me go, oh, I got to stop everything and do an episode for Microwave Massacre. And not so much. I mean, maybe in the future, I might talk about Microwave Massacre. All right, now going on to my other ones here. I'm a little bit more excited about these, or I guess I have more to say about these. The first one is from the Vestron Video Collectors series. I'm a little bit late to this game, too. But this is Return of the Living Dead 3. This was the first one I ran out and picked up at FYE. Just because it's uncut. I mean, we haven't seen this movie uncut. I believe I have the DVD, like a shitty, like 4-pack that this ended up on. And it was the R-rated theatrical cut. This one's always really nostalgic for me. When I was a kid, it used to play on the Sci-Fi Channel all the time. I actually recorded it off TV. For the longest time, that was the only way that I had ever seen it. I was really excited for this. It had all these really cool features, audio commentary with Brian Usna, obviously from Society fame, and I think he actually produced the next one that I have here. But he's always he's kind of like the poor man's Cronenberg. He's pretty good with body horror films, and that's totally what this is. This one definitely deserves a references film, so I won't go into it too much. But one thing I will say in defense of this film, because there are certain people who say about Return of the Living Dead 3 that I really like is I like that it expands a bit more on the 245 trioxin universe. You get a little bit more backstory, or not necessarily backstory, because that mostly comes from the first one, but you like get a sense of like what the military was trying to do with this, and like, the military is kind of just like an evil entity in the first two, but it's never really explored. I like that this one like expands on that universe. A couple of things about this. First and foremost, I absolutely adore the slip sleeve. I'm such a sucker for slip sleeves, especially kind of like that holographic look. So, I mean, instantly I knew I had to get this. They put collector series. I mean, it's totally pandering to me. My first grievance, though, is that logo's not on the case. It's just on the slip sleeve. It kind of bugs me. I know that that's nitpicking a little bit. One of my other nitpicks is I'm not sure, like, how it just says that this is like a high definition 1080p version. I'm guessing it's not like a 2K or 4K scan of the original film. But I just sometimes I'm kind of a sucker for like knowing what actually goes in to the restoration process, So I wish that they like gave a little bit of information on that with this. The Vestron logo, like I said, is a little bit of a grievance. Then the big one is there's no reversible artwork. There's not even like pictures on the inside like on some of the Shout Factory releases. Now, look, I don't mean to call you out, Lionsgate. I don't mean to call you out at all, but come on, you're a big boy. Like, I feel like they didn't go all out. They're trying to compete with Arrow Video and Severin, and some of the other, really popular Blu-ray releasing companies right now. The top dogs are obviously Severin, Vinegar Syndrome, Shout Factory, Arrow. I mean, those are the real big boys, and it looks like Lionsgate is trying to compete. But, I mean, if you're going to compete, you're going to charge like premium collector series prices. You gotta go a little bit further than this went. You got to kind of go all out. It looks like they kind of like all their focus was put into like restoring the film and special features, which is the big part of it, obviously. And they made the slip sleeves super cool, but this just kind of bums me out a little bit. The eco-friendly case, like I'm kind of thinking about like ordering like different colored Blu-ray cases to replace these with. I don't know. I just kind of feel like if you do 95% absolute Vestron releases. And then the second one, obviously, is another Vestron release, because even though I have a little bit of a gripe with this, I'm kind of a sucker for them right now. I'm like absolutely in love with them. I just got this one today, which is Beyond Reanimator. I definitely, these were the first two that I was like, I have to get these like now. These are the two that I'm most excited. You know, I was really excited to watch this one. I was really excited to watch Return of the Living Dead. I watched the movie a couple of times, just kind of took a walk down memory lane. And then the same thing with Beyond Reanimator. I remember, this is the first Reanimator movie that I've ever seen. It came out, I think it actually premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that it premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel, and I must have been about 11 years old. And I just used to, like, on Saturdays during the summer, I would just Saturday, the Saturday sci-fi marathon. And I remember the big movie of the night was the network premiere of Beyond Reanimator. And I didn't know what it was. And at 11 years old, I was kind of like, it doesn't look that cool. I probably won't watch it. And I remember it came on, and I was like, well, I'll give this a couple of minutes. And that opening scene with the zombie with his jaw missing, just like I was like laser focused in. I ended up watching the movie and really, really enjoyed it. I remember at the time, even though it was on TV, thinking that this was like a really gory film, you know, at 11 years old. And I haven't seen this in a few years. I believe I actually have it on VHS. I think it might even be taped from TV. But I need to revisit this. I'm really excited to watch this and watch all of the special features on it. Looks like there's an audio commentary with Brian Usna. Looks like interviews with Jeffrey Combs. So, and actually, real quick, Jeffrey Combs I met just a few months ago at another film festival. I was there screening my short film, Kathy's Closet, which will be dropping on this YouTube channel, I believe, in October. But I was screening it at Crypticon, and Jeffrey Combs was there. And, you know, I didn't talk to him at all. But I was staying, it turns out, in the same Hilton hotel as him. And I got on the elevator and I was with him. And, you know, I mean, I don't want to be a fanboy ever. So I just kind of started talking to him about the Northwest. And he was talking about how he went to school in Washington, which I had no idea. I had no idea that he was kind of a local boy. That's probably what he was doing there at the festival. But he was like a super nice guy. I didn't talk to him at all about any of his films. I think I briefly mentioned that I was at the film festival screening a short film. But I remember just like talking to him about the weather for the most part, and talking to him about school before we departed. But he's a super cool guy. Jeffrey Combs is like super humble, or maybe it was because like I didn't geek out in front of him. But back on track, at the risk of sounding crazy, and it's been a couple years since I've seen this, but Beyond Reanimator might be my favorite one. Just because of the nostalgic factor. I need to rewatch this again. I actually rewatched the first Reanimator probably when I got back from that film festival, actually. Yeah, a couple months ago. You know, I revisit the first one quite often. But I have such fond memories of Beyond Reanimator, so I'm excited for the special features. I'm excited to check this out. I love the holographic. You can't really see it on here, but I love the holographic slip sleeve, just like the others. Forgetting the fucking Vestron label just kind of bugs me. It just looks plain now. It doesn't, there's nothing special about it. This is supposed to be like a premium collector series. And then once again, the god-awful eco-friendly case with nothing on the reverse side. Nope, I don't even need a reverse cover. I know that that's like some people do, and I'm usually not super nitpicky. But I at least have some posters or a little picture on the inside sleeve, or include a little booklet or something. Just something. I don't know. But yeah, I know it seems like I'm griping a little bit about these Vestron releases, but I absolutely love them. Don't get me wrong. I say rush out and grab them. They look great. Blood Diner is probably the next one that I'm going to get. That one and Lair of the White Worm. But yeah, that's about it as far as my collection goes. Actually, a YouTube buddy of mine, Toddy Walnuts, he sent me, because I won as a prize, like a giveaway thing. He sent me some Wild Eye films, like Tsunamis and stuff. I have them out in the TV. I just now thought of that. Maybe I should have talked about those. But I just real quick, I love Wild Eye. I love Wild Eye films. I'm a sucker for being for kind of cheesy independent horror films. And my feature film that I'm currently in post-production on, called Jesus, I Was Evil. You can watch the trailer on my channel. Please watch the trailer and share it, and give it a like. But I'm actually like, Wild Eye Films is like one company that I'm kind of targeting. I would love to release the film through Wild Eye, so I'm trying to be like, positive vibes and everything. But anyhow, more episodes coming later on this month. I don't know how I am at this live format. Doesn't seem like too many people watched or stuck around for very long. But if you like these, I'll keep doing them. If you like these collection updates, I'll keep doing them. But until next time, guys.